went to Tanzania for a month, like without us.
A month?
They went. Yeah. I mean, we went to Africa with them, but they also had their own. They went to Jamaica without. They went to, like, they took trips, international trips without us. We stayed with my grandma or my aunts or whatever.
So now she's acting like she doesn't understand?
A lot of the things, the way that we were raised, I feel like she might be forgetting, like spankings.
So do you remind them?
I mean, what is
the question?
It almost is like I just have to have somebody else to lock eyes with and be like, is this the reality that you remember? Like, me and my sisters are like, what? When my mom says, don't spank them, that's gonna be bad. And we be like,
do you remember when you put your hands on me?
Right. So the way that I was raised was wrong, and now this is the new age.
Girl, I can't handle it.
So my mom, love her, she's amazing, but she said, when you have wisdom, you can correct the flaws that you had
of the previous generation.
Right. So her job as the grandmother is to correct the wrongs that she made in the grandchildren.
Okay, I can see that. I like it.
I like it too, but
don't be judging me because I'm doing what I was raised with.
Or what we decided to do. It may or may not.
Even
like,
deeper.
There are two people. So, I'm not raising them exactly how you raised me, because that would be a totally different ball game. There are two people involved. And
that's true.
Our spouses had totally different experiences than we do. It's not like... And I feel like my parents they do pretty good at staying out. Not as good as world famous parents. Like, they literally are like, that's not our business.
Hands off.
They are like, There's been maybe one time where I told on him. And she heard it and was like, okay. But she didn't really jump in and get on him or nothing. She was just like, okay.
Girl, I can tell Charles, my daddy, bites his tongue all the time. I can see it in his eyes.
Really?
I can see he bites his tongue. He doesn't say it, but I can tell he wants to so bad. So it's really a challenge because he was definitely the opinion leader in his network of girls, which is me, my mama, and my sister.
Right.
Like, he was...
my dad had all girls,
too. End-all, be-all. Mm-hmm. And so it's really hard to give up some of that control and power to some man that's coming to his life. Like, these my girls,
And that's funny because my dad had all girl, 3 girls and a wife, but
he was relieved.
My mom called the shots. So my dad was just control. I mean, he controlled security. He controlled safety. That was it. So, like, details, schmeetails, like, it really, so my mom was hands-on with all the things woman, because my dad was like, I'm not a woman. So.
That is so interesting because I think mine were similar to that, but my daddy ran it. And my mama was the super submissive wife and just so sweet. She ain't gonna argue. She understood me growing up, Lord. I remember being pregnant and going to my mama and just boo-hooing because I finally understood, teenage girls, they have the bad attitude, and it's that time when you kind of defiant towards your mama, especially.
But let's be clear, you were not a teenage mom, right?
No.
Okay. I just want to clear it up for the audience.
Did I make that unclear?
Because you were like, I ran to my mom when I was pregnant, and then you said, teenage girls.
I was reflecting.
Yes, on when you were a teenager.
Yes. When I was pregnant as a married, grown woman with a career and a house and a...
Because I was like, ooh. And then I was like, wait, you weren't no teen mom.
No. Look at you getting all excited. So, spill
it, girl.
I just remember reflecting on how many times my mama saved my tail. Because she understood me so much. And then I reflected on how messed up the way that I treated her was some days. Because she's very passive and I'm not that. So, yeah. I would have to take up for my mama against her own sister. So mama's just chill like that. She's not confrontational. But I was about it. Like, whatever. because my mom was not confrontational. You ain't gonna talk to her.
So I'm gonna ask you the question you asked me then.
Nope, I'm asking you that first. No. So wait, I have to say this though. Mm-hmm. Here's an issue that I have with my parents, and you tell me if you see this from time to time in your life.
Okay.
Whenever I'm correcting my children, mm-hmm. they love to point out that I was exactly like that. Like, that's their constant go-to.
So it's like,
Ansley knows that, like, they always follow it up. Like, if I'm
while you're there, mm-hmm. like, you're there, she's there, mm-hmm. correcting her, then they'll be like, oh.
So they've stopped doing that now because
Did you tell them?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, so the reality is every generation should get better. Mm-hmm. While I recognize that we have similarities, like the more that you tell her that, she's proud of that. Yeah. So if I'm trying to correct things that I know she shouldn't be doing that I did do,
it's positive reinforcement.
Negating it.
Yeah.
So.
But you know what?
What?
World Famous's mom does that with the professor a lot. A lot. She'll be like, just like Eddie. Like, she will do, like, and it will be.
About it.
Because she'll be like, finally, they get to experience all the mess he put me through.
But
like,
here's the thing. I wasn't a bad kid. Like, I was a good girl. I really, really was. Mm-hmm. And that's what I always tell them. I'm like, well, they're like, she's just like you. And I'm like, well, luckily, I didn't give y'all any issues. So it's really okay that she's like me.
Yeah.
So while you're all excited, I don't understand. And I also feel like my parent, like you just said, that your mother-in-law is like cheering and gleeful. Like, I feel like they're excited because they feel like they're reliving my childhood.
Oh,
they got another Kisha.
Yeah.
With Ansley. So
I definitely think with the professor because he's the only boy on that side. And so they're like,
here's Eddie all again.
Yeah. All again. But she will go into that kid that if they had those leashes, I would have put him on it. Little teddy bear backpack.
I know what you're talking about.
She was like, he was a runner. Oh, he ran just like him. Running from me.
Excited.
I'm like,
excited.
So
our genes real strong. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is endearing because of the way he turned out. Like, he is a good man. So I feel like it's cute that you can point out that he was this way, now he's better.
But it's cute to you because it's not you. If your parents were constantly highlighting, for instance, we just had the greedy conversation. Like, where my oldest child is an eager eater and she's greedy and she's proud. Like, she's like, I'm greedy. Like, she thinks that's cute. My parents love the fact that I also ate a lot and was an eager eater when I was younger.
Right.
So they're like, she just like you, Kisha. Every day you would come home from school and say, I'm hungry. Like, okay, I remember that. Like, it was yesterday. I do remember doing that. But that's not my fault that you didn't think to correct that. Because there's nothing cute about being gluttonous.
Hello. Like,
so
because I'm thinking like,
lead to health issues.
We need to,
my parents fight a lot of health issues with weight and moderation and eating and things like that.
Foods
right.
And being excited about cars.
The fact that you are celebrating the fact that you want me to just own the fact that I was great. Okay, I'll say that. Yes, I was. And I also had high cholesterol in 3rd grade. And I also had to battle that. So if I'm trying to keep her from doing these things so that she can already be in this mindset of healthy eating, why are we celebrating so hard that she wants to come in and eat 4 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches after school?
Right. Ooh.
Real talk 3.
What? Girl.
I don't know how. So.
And it's not an overweight thing, which I wanted to, like, when she was talking about, oh, this makes you fat or this makes you and I almost wanted to be like, look, we don't care about that. Like, let's talk about the fact that you're full. Like, let's not. And that was good, that conversation that we were all having. Mm-hmm. I was hoping it wouldn't have to go there because I would have to be like, look, you are perfect.
Didn't. Yeah, it didn't.
You were so good.
Because my dad has been such an influence on my oldest child because he always jokes and says he didn't know he retired to be a full-time babysitter.
Yeah.
They are super duper close. And so because my dad actually did go through like heart surgery and things like that, he has definitely tried to instill that healthy eating mindset in Ansley, but at the same time, it's like that grandparent gets in the way too. So I was excited because Ansley would be the one that ate fruit and vegetables all the time. People used to laugh, like just be amazed because she would choose broccoli as her side because Daddy has absolutely trained. But then on the other hand, it's like, just keep on wanting all this stuff because you're just like your mama.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I didn't even think about that part. And maybe it's because my own parents don't really, I guess my kids may not be that much like me because I don't hear them saying just like your mama at all. Now, they will say.
Or maybe they don't remember how you were because they were in Tanzania.
My whole life.
They never came back. Never, ever.
For real. No, I'm just kidding.
So now you shouldn't travel.
But, right. What? How dare you? No, not dare me. I learned it by watching
you. All right? Okay, please tell me if y'all remember that commercial. Y'all know.
That's my favorite. 80s babies.
Yeah.
But they do say, and I even say it, I compare my daughter to my sisters. And it's always like it's never stuff that's bad. I'll be like, oh my gosh, my sister used to do that or whatever. And my sister I know does that with my niece. I don't know about my other niece, but I know my one that's about to graduate from high school. She'll be like, oh my gosh, you and your auntie do this or that. So that's like a making a connection thing with them. But
I do that too in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you and Sharifa.
Okay.
I'm just playing.
No, yeah. So I think that's kind of endearing. If it's a positive attribute that people share, I think that's a good thing. And I think like, you're so cautious about stuff. And definitely Missy is the same. And I'll be like, girl.
She is. And I have to save her because I'm just like, it is okay. Don't you let your mama bully you. into going and jumping off that ledge and zip line. If you're scared, you'll work your way up to it.
Oh, gosh.
I worked my way up to it, and I'm adventurous. I climb waterfalls now.
You did. I'm so excited you did that.
So I just feel like we are definitely blessed to have our parents.
Yeah.
But it is funny navigating through the parental involvement and how vocal are they allowed to be.
Yeah. And then what's going to come back later? I feel like I live in, it's not fear, but there's certain things I won't ask my parents because I don't want them to come back a year later and say, well, remember when, or if you would be paying more attention like I was in 2017 in October, whatever, then you would have seen that, whatever. Like, I just don't like to live in that. And it's happened a couple of times where it's been kind of thrown in my face about certain things. So I get real cautious about.
Is it them trying to parent us as adults?
It must be hard.
Is that what that is?
It must be hard to parent an adult. Like,
but should they still be parenting us? I don't know. When does the line, or does it ever?
I don't know, because then they start getting so old that they feel like they can say whatever to you. And I don't think our parents are there yet, but I'm like, at that point is when we're just like, our feelings don't get hurt. We just move on like, okay, whatever, Mom.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That being said, in Atlanta, my mother is kind of new. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's been here about 8 years now. Like, I feel like she's not that new.
She's really
But
not.
She was born and raised in California, and that's what she knows. So a lot of her friends were childhood friends she developed through work. All these, like, she's already had her circle. And she's been telling me it's been really hard she has one friend who she thought that they were becoming closer.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a little bit annoyed that her friend kept inviting her to events.
Wait a minute, this sounds like an elephant in the room topic.
Yes, it is. And so